news across the globe. Let's start with the Israeli government. A far-right Israeli government minister has criticized a decision by the country's military to withdraw an army division from Gaza, exposing further divides between lawmakers over the military's offensive in the Palestinian enclave. National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir said a rocket barrage launched from Gaza into Israel on Tuesday morning provides once again that the occupation of the Gaza Strip is necessary for the realization of the combat goals. The IDF said on Monday that the 36th Division, which comprises of armored engineering and infantry companies, withdrew from the Gaza Strip after 80 days, and the most significant sign yet of a shift to a new phase of fighting that some Israeli officials have been promising.
While U.S. voters react to Trump's commanding lower win. As expected, former President Donald Trump was the clear winner of the lower caucuses with a landslide victory on Monday night. The result is the first step towards setting up a rematch with President Joe Biden in November. The former president dominated in the state where the Republican electorate is deeply conservative, taking over 50% of the vote and tightening his hold over the party. In the hours after his overwhelming victory, the BBC spoke to voters across the political spectrum and asked them what they made for Mr. Trump's electoral return. While some Republicans, seemingly the majority of the party based off the lower result, think that Mr. Trump is the only one who can save the nation, others fear the billionaire will lose once again to Biden in the presidential election.
Well, Britain is deploying 20,000 troops across Europe to deter Russia. Defense Secretary Grant Shapps has announced that in the first half of 2024, 20,000 service personnel from the Royal Navy, the British Army, and the Royal Air Force will deploy across Europe to take part in the exercise Steadfast Defender 24. The exercise will see the UK's armed forces join thousands of personnel from 31 NATO allies and Sweden operating across multiple countries, coinciding with the NATO alliance's 75th year. The following is an excerpt of the speech given by Shapps. It goes on to say, and I read, if Putin thought we would be distracted by the events in the Middle East, then last week, because of the long-term decision his government has taken, his hopes were surely dashed. In a complex world, no nation can afford to go it alone. So we must continue strengthening our alliances so that the world knows they cannot be broken. Defense is in many ways the cornerstone of our relations across the world.
Speaking of defense, in the Russian-Ukraine war, the production of Russian missiles, other weapons, and the work of the Russian defense industry are based on shady ties with the world's leading countries. That is according to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. He said this at a joint press conference with Swiss President Viola Amherd in Bern on Monday, January 15th, Ukreform reports. Ukraine counts on Switzerland's support in the global work to block all schemes to circumvent sanctions. Currently, we see that Russian missiles that terrorize the cities, according to him, are the weapons that they use, and the work of their military industry are based on shady ties, according to Zelensky, with the world's leading countries. Each Russian missile has dozens of components created by companies from other countries, including Europe.
Well, let's see what Trump has been up to lately. The Supreme Court's recent decision to take a case challenging how the Justice Department prosecutes January 6 rioters has already put on hold several rioters' sentencing and could affect hundreds more cases, including Donald Trump's. Now, if the challenge is successful, the Supreme Court could potentially wipe away two of the four counts the special counsel Jack Smith against the former president in his federal election interference case and upheld felony convictions for dozens of January 6 rioters. Since the Supreme Court agreed last month to take the case, Feature versus the US, more than a dozen January 6 defendants have already asked judges to halt their upcoming sentences and trials. Well, while some judges have backed, others have agreed to put it on hold for the rioters in a handful of cases.